Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone Never Will. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing His word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity. So by the Spirit, I was doing some research, on just the, the fact that we've been scattered. We've been scattered throughout all nations. I had started this research last night, actually. Just on a whim. I just, the Spirit was on me to look into it, so I did. And the fact that that we're in every nation, and even in China. Okay, so I looked up, Jews that are in China, right? So I click on Wikipedia and I'm going through and I'm reading, and it just things just start building up, to the facts, the facts that that we're a lost nation. We're not lost. We're just scattered. And we don't know. Our people don't know who we really are. But there are some when we were scattered, when we were persecuted in Rome, the Roman persecution, when we fled out of there in 70 AD, man, we went everywhere. Okay, we went everywhere. So a lot of us went into Africa. Okay, went up into Europe, and we even went east. Into the Arabias and in China, et cetera, right? So I'm going through and I'm reading and I'm seeing all this stuff, and it's blowing my mind, But so I'm gonna just go ahead and jump into it by the Spirit, and just go with the flow. So it says history of the Jews in China, right? So I'm gonna be jumping around. I got a few different articles I'm gonna pull up to go along with it, but it says Jews and Judaism in China are predominantly composed of Sephardi Jews and their descendants. Other Jewish ethnic divisions are also represented, including Ashkenazi Jews, Mizrahi Jews, and a number of converts. Right, so those are converts. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. It says the Jewish Chinese community manifests a wide range of Jewish culture traditions, and it also encompasses the full spectrum of Jewish religious observance. Though a small minority, Chinese Jews have had an open presence in the country since the arrival of the first Jewish immigrants during the 7th and 8th century CE, but it's AD. Relatively isolated communities of Jews developed through the Tang and Song dynasties, 7th to 12th century, all the way through the Qing dynasty, 19th century. Most notably, the Kaifeng Jews. The term Chinese Jews is often used in a restricted sense in order to refer to these communities, right? So as I'm continue to read, I go into the Kaifeng Jews, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But let me just jump around and get to the meat and potatoes. All right. So I'm gonna read the overview. It says China's first contact with the Jewish people came as a result of the development of the Silk Road, an ancient trade route linking China with the Middle East and Europe that was created during the Han Dynasty, okay, in 226 BCE, all right, and incorporated existing trade routes that were established 200 years earlier by the Persian Achaemenid Empire. The first wave of Jews to China traveled from West Asia over the Silk Road, and by the sea via India during the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. They consisted of Babylonian, Persian, modern-day Iraq, and Iran, who traveled along the Silk Road and received the Tang's empire blessing to reside in Kaifeng. Okay, there's that Kaifeng again. So it says they eventually formed a distinct Kaifeng Jewish community during the Song Dynasty, where many eventually became prominent government officials, doctors, rabbis, and businessmen. They eventually assimilated into Chinese culture, learning the language, and began to intermarry with the Han populace. Right. So when we fled out of out of Jerusalem, okay, we went and we mingled amongst the other nations. Okay, learned the language. Okay, learned their customs. We learned everything. All right. Give me 1 second, Slaki. All right, so this is let me just pull it up right quick. And this is just a quick little precept, that when we were all over the place. All right, we were all over the place, and we learned their customs, we learned everything, right? But let me just go ahead and get this real quick, and I'm gonna jump back to the article. This is Nehemiah 13:23. It says, "In those days I saw Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and of Ammon and of Moab." Right, so that was those other nations, man. When we went over and when we scattered throughout, okay, but not necessarily scattered. We were everywhere before we scattered or whatever. But it says, let me just keep reading. It says, "And their children spake half in speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by Yahweh, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons for yourselves. Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him." It says, "Who was beloved of his power, and Yahweh made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin." Right, because what did they do? What did King Solomon suffer, or what was he guilty of? Pretty much is it's lawful to intermingle with other nations. However, when they cause you to serve their God, okay, and serve idols, then that's when you're going off, okay, and that's why that's what it's referring to here in this scripture. Okay, and going back to this article, it said it says they eventually assimilated in Chinese culture, learned the language, and began to intermarry with the Han populace. Other Western scholars speculate that the first wave of Jew settlement in China may have arrived even earlier than the later Han dynasty, right? Earlier than 25 to 220 AD, right? Which is true. Okay, it even spoke it in the script in the book of Nehemiah that I just read. It says, which coincided with the Roman persecution of Judean Jews after the Roman destroyed the temple at Jerusalem in 70 AD. Right, so it's plain as day. When we were persecuted, in Rome, we fled. Okay, we fled, and we not only fled into Africa. Okay, so all the tribes aren't just black. Okay, as a lot of groups, a lot of camps believe, which is not the case. Okay, because it's all through the seed of the male, of the man. Okay, so if we plant our seed in Moab, okay, and for some reason that child wants to have a family, all right, with someone who looks more like his mom, okay, and that continues on for generation to generation, okay, they're eventually going to look like them. But that seed still is they still have the seed of that male, okay, of either the northern or southern tribe, okay. So let me go ahead and see. Okay, so it says Roman destroyed in the temple at Jerusalem in 70 AD, right? But it kept referring to that Kaifeng dynasty, or Slakia, the Kaifeng. But let me so the Han dynasty, right? So just to kind of, it's going to all tie in together or whatever. But we were scattered, and we were in fact the ones who built the Great Wall of China. I even did a little background on that, a little research on it, not too in depth, but to get to the point, the Kaifeng, right, were part of that Han Dynasty, right? Okay, it says this is so it went through different stages, right? So starting back in 70 BC, he was the one who decided to create the walls to begin with. Okay, and then the second stage during the queen or king dynasty, all right, they connected the walls to separate, or to connect and extend the separate walls of the former states. All right, and then the Han Dynasty was commanded to build the Great Wall to protect the safety of the Silk Road. We just read about the Silk Road, right, up here in overview. Okay, China's first contact with the Jewish people came as a result of the development of the Silk Road, right? So, so this is where our people. This is well all throughout, but primarily this is when our people were in that region. Okay, we're the ones who built the Great Wall of China. All right, it's got a little depiction here, and our people suffered many things. Okay, we suffered more. Our people suffer more than anybody on this nation, or it's like anybody in this world, for that matter. Okay, and let me go ahead and let me get that. That's going to be in the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11, or 11. Started with 11. It says, "Yea, all of Israel has transgressed thy law, even by departing they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servants of Yahweh, because he hath sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing up upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem." So no kind of persecution, no kind of judgment has happened that we've had to endure. All right. So they like to claim that China had Chinese slaves who built the Great Wall of China, but no, they were Israelites. Okay, they were Israelites who were considered criminals. Okay, as you see, is depicted in here in the picture. You got the criminals holding the rocks. Okay, and so you got the taskmasters. Man, that's even going back into the book of Exodus. Okay, Exodus, the first chapter. When Israel was under the Egyptian captivity. Okay, they were ordered taskmasters over us. Okay, because we built the pyramids as well. All right, we suffered. Who built America up? Okay, everything that you see was from when we were brought here in slavery. Okay, there was the northern tribe had this land. Okay, and they had their temple. They had their buildings, but what you see modern day over the centuries was built by the Israelites. Okay, and we've suffered many things, and it even says in the scripture that that under the whole heaven have not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem. Right. So let's go. And then I went into the Kaifeng. Right. I just typed in the Kaifeng Jews. All right, and I saw this article. It says, "Who are the Kaifeng Jews, and why is China cracking down on them?" All right, because the Kaifeng Jews are Israelites. Okay, and they're being cracked down on and even in their country. Okay, just as we are they're cracking down on us. Okay, so it says recent months have brought reports that descendants of Jews in Kaifeng, China are under threat. Activists call it government crackdown. Police have shut down the only Jewish learning center in Kaifeng, held by Israeli activist group Shavei Israel, say activists. That community members identify as their historic Makav, the ritual Jewish bathing, was reported blocked. Foreign Jewish tours are said to have been barred from entering the city, and community members are allegedly being monitored and questioned. Same things that are going on today. Same thing that are going on to the men of the Lord here on this side. All right, on the Western Hemisphere, in the Americas, right, being monitored. They're monitoring our calls, text messages, YouTube videos, everything. Okay, and being questioned, being brought in to be questioned. It says, and then the same thing's happening in China. All right, it says, who are these descendants of Jews in Kaifeng, and are they being threatened, and why? Right, because they are. And it just goes into the history of it, right? It just goes into the history, and I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but the fact that we're in China, okay, our people are in China, and we're still trying to uphold they're trying to uphold the customs. It may not be it may not be about it the right way, because they might follow the Ashkenazi Jews. Ways of serving Most High, right? But the fact that they recognize and they know who they are, right? In the same way that we're doing, we're serving Yahweh the best way that we can, being in our circumstances, But they're suffering just like we're suffering, okay? It says that in the book of Daniel, okay. Under the whole heaven have not been done have been done upon Jerusalem. So everywhere we go, we're going to be persecuted. We're going to be hated. We're going to be, we're going to be disliked. All right. But this is the point, and I'm gonna tie it all in with this. Okay. I'm gonna get Slakia. I'm gonna get going in the Apocrypha. All right, go in the Apocrypha in the book of Baruch. The book of Baruch, chapter 2. And go to verse 30. All right, it says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity they shall remember themselves. Right, because they're in the land of their captivity, being under persecution and under the different dynasties that we had to, serve upon or serve under, just as we are in modern day today, Babylon. All right. So it says we're going to remember ourselves in the land of our captivities. Well, we're in the land of our captivity. We were brought here captive. Okay. And we're going to remember ourselves. It says, and shall know that I am Yahweh their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. Right. So when it goes into the word heart, man, it just means the mind. Okay. It says I will give them a mind and ears to hear. Well, that's hypothetically speaking. It's a similitude. Everyone has ears, but it's this. That what it's referring to is having that spirit. Okay. Having that spirit to hear this truth and hear these words. Okay, he's gonna put that upon us, and he's doing that today. It says, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. We're thinking upon his name being Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, all right, is the heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai being his only begotten Son. It says, and return from their stiff neck, and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the ways of their fathers which sinned before Yahweh. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. Right? So that's ultimately, what we're looking forward to, man. We're going to be delivered. And how are we going to be delivered? We're going to be delivered by Yahweh Shai. Okay? He's, Yahweh Shai meaning he delivers, or the deliverer. Because he's going to deliver us from the land of our captivities and bring us into the land which he promised us. It says, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. So when we're brought back into their land, we're not going to be driven out. We're not going to be captives anymore. We're not going to be, brought through slave ships to another nation. Okay, we're no longer going to have to serve under other nations. All right, we're going to serve under Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai and unite and be one. Okay, ultimately that's what we have to look forward to, as long as we continue to serve our power. But the fact that we're everywhere, in China, okay, doing the same thing, suffering the same persecutions, okay. But Lord willing, this video was edifying. I want to give our honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash. All right. And so with that, I want to say shalom. We almost out of here.